going to be talking about client personas. So we all know that it's important to identify your target market and identify the audience that you're trying to reach with your videos, and make sure that it's also that audience matches the target market that you're trying to reach, in your firm. So you're attracting the best clients possible, or the best potential clients possible. But one way that you can take it a step further is to identify your client's persona. What does that mean? It means looking at all of the characteristics of a certain client that you would love to have. So we'll use a few examples so that we can kind of try to identify who you might be looking for, or how to figure out what you're looking for. So let's just say you're a personal injury attorney, and the types of cases that you want involve serious injuries, ones that require a bunch of time off of work, cases where there's a lot of insurance. Perhaps if there isn't enough insurance from the at-fault party, there's uninsured motorist coverage or underinsured motorist coverage, perhaps umbrella policies. You're also looking for, someone who is going to be communicating well, who's going to understand the process, who's going to be open to suggestions, who's going to be open to you leading them in, the right direction as the case goes on. So what does that client look like? 9 times out of 10 in personal injury cases, it doesn't really matter what type of person you are. Anyone can get in a car accident, anyone can be hurt. But there are those clients that make quote unquote better clients than others. So if you're looking for a certain type of person who meets all the criteria that we just listed before, you can kind of start to identify what type of person that would be, and from there figure out what they like to do, what type of person they are, so that you can build their persona. So let's just say you have a mom who is in the car a lot because she's constantly running to soccer practice and baseball practice and running the kids back and forth to school. Usually she's, when it's not COVID and she's working outside of the home instead of working from home, she's commuting back and forth to the office. She understands the importance of protecting her family. She understands the importance of protecting her kids. So most likely she has uninsured motorist coverage, underinsured motorist coverage, and of course an umbrella policy if there are enough assets in the home to want to protect all of those things. So that mom is, again, a mother. She has a full-time job. She is busy. She's running around like crazy. All of those different things can add up to her quote unquote persona, right? Perhaps she makes over $65,000 a year. Perhaps she has 2 or 3 children. Perhaps she has some sort of office job where she understands the importance of deadlines and getting paperwork in, and understands the technology that you guys might be using to best work her case. That could be an ideal client for you guys. So for personal injury attorney rather. So if you look at all of the different things that a typical mom of that, with those characteristics, what else would she be doing outside of the home, or, on the weekends? Perhaps she's going to the zoo, or perhaps she's throwing birthday parties for her kids. Perhaps she's likes to enjoy great restaurants. Think of all of the things that she would be doing outside of those normal 9 to 5 business hours, so that you can kind of create this this person, right? This ideal person. Again, the client persona. For men, maybe it's a gentleman who works 50 hours a week, who is traveling constantly for his job, who works hard and can't afford to miss the time off of work. He also understands the importance of uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. He, just think of all of the different things that would match that person. For you divorce attorneys out there, maybe it's a woman who has quite a few assets. She didn't sign a prenuptial agreement. She, has her own house, or, she and her husband, or soon to be ex-husband, own their own house. They both have retirement accounts. They have a second home. They have cars, they have kids, they have, you know, assets that are going to need to be divided up once the divorce goes through. What does that woman look like? Is she a professional? Is she, you know, was she a stay-at-home mom for the past 25 years? What does that ideal client look like to you? And what do you think that they're going to be doing outside of the office? I'm sorry, not outside of the office, outside of 9 to 5. For the estate planning attorneys out there, perhaps you have a couple who is just about to retire. Maybe they have grown kids who are just starting to have their own children. And you guys are trying to, you know, that couple is trying to downsize their home. They're trying to, you know, travel around the world, enjoy retirement, and spend their time, you know, visiting their grandkids. Those are the types of people that are going to want to come to estate planning attorneys to protect and properly pass on all of those things that they've spent their lives building up to eventually give to their children after they're gone. So how, you know, figuring out how to connect with these people can start by identifying those personas. But then if you're having trouble figuring out what those personas look like, you can look at your existing client base. So take your top 5 best clients, you know, your best male clients, your best female clients. They don't necessarily have to be current clients or recently settled clients or recently closed cases. They can be, you know, over the course of your career, who did you most enjoy working with, and who did you feel like you had the best result for? It doesn't necessarily have to be a high dollar amount, but perhaps, you know, you would take 5 of these halfway decent settled cases because the person was so easy to work with and they did all the right things, instead of, you know, 1 client who made you a little bit more money. Again, you don't have to look at the settlement amount or the attorney fees that came from the relationship with that client. But again, look at that list of clients that you create, and then look at all the characteristics of those specific clients. If you're trying to bring in more clients like them and you still have a great rapport and a great relationship with that client or with those clients, reach out to them and say, hey, you know, I'm trying to attract more clients like you. I really enjoyed working with you. You know, I feel like we had a good rapport. You know, can I just pick your brain and see just a little bit? Will you give me a glimpse of your life outside of this office? You know, I know you from only what was on paper, where you worked, what hospitals you went to, you know, what assets you had to divide up with your husband. You know the basic information that was needed for the case, but if you get to know that person a little bit deeper, you might be able to emulate the same characteristics for when you are developing the client personas of future clients that you would like to attract. So again, and it would give you a really great reason to reach out to those old clients, because, you know, we always want to connect with them, but sometimes it's a little hard because there's nothing, you know, your mind automatically goes to, well, I don't really have anything to talk about with them anymore because the case is over. I already asked them for a review. They've already given me a couple referrals. You know, what else is there? This gives you a great reason to say, hey, I appreciated the time that we spent together. I value you as a client, and I really value your opinion, and I would love to attract more people like you, like we said. So tell me a little bit about what your life is like outside of this office. And another thing you could do is, you know, look at that person's social media pages, look at the things that they like, find out the places that they check in, you know, just discover what their personal life is like, and it can help you build a client persona for the people that you're trying to attract. So once you figure out what this client persona is, right, for all of these different types of people, perhaps, I can't imagine that a firm would have more than, you know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 client personas that match what the ideal client is that they're trying to bring into the office. So once you've identified those client personas, start talking about them in your videos. So let's just say you have created a video on what to do after a car accident. You know, instead of just saying, life can be pretty scary out there, especially when, you know, you're struck by somebody out of the blue, you know, you weren't able to prevent this accident from happening, but now you have all of these hoops to go through as you navigate life, trying to recover and deal with the insurance company, and figuring out what to say and what not to say to the adjuster, and figuring out what paperwork you should or shouldn't sign from the insurance company. You're going to suppose you make a video about all of those, steps to take immediately after a car accident. You can build a deeper connection with your audience, and you can relate to those same people that you're trying to attract with a client persona by peppering in phrases that match what the identifying characteristics are. So the video, or the script can go something like, if you're a soccer mom who is constantly running around trying to get from here or there, if you're injured in a car accident, your whole life comes to a stop. You can no longer take your children to practice. Perhaps the SUV is completely totaled, so now you have to figure out the quickest way to get it fixed, but that's only after you go to physical therapy to help all of the back issues that you've since developed. You can no longer cook the amazing meals that you love to make in the kitchen. Your children are feeling probably a little lost because the tight ship that you run at home with all of your children is starting to waver just a little bit, and life isn't the same as it normally is. You can't, go to the ladies' wine night on Thursdays like you like to. These are the things that you have to do after a car accident to make sure that we can get you back to that life, get you back on the sidelines of your kids' practices, and get you back to enjoying life with your family, after you get back from the office. If especially as a mom myself, if I were to hear an attorney talk about all of those things that I'm dealing with right after a car accident, I'm much, much, much more likely to be engaged and to listen to the video to the end and to really feel like that attorney has heard me, instead of just make sure that you don't sign the medical authorization from the insurance company, and don't forget to never give a recorded statement to the adjuster. Those things kind of go in one ear and out the other. But if I hear that, this attorney is hearing me, right? They understand the fact that it's annoying to me that I can't make lasagna every Wednesday for my child because I have a broken arm because of the accident. That's going to speak much, much louder. Hearing the advice of not signing a medical authorization is a little boring compared to the reason that you don't want to sign a medical authorization from the insurance company is because it gives them permission to get all of your medical records, even the ones where you had a difficult childbirth or you had a cancer scare 5 years ago. The insurance adjuster has no business needing that information, nor do you want to give that up to them. That speaks to me deeper than don't sign the authorization. So again, figuring out what your client's persona is, and then peppering in those phrases within the videos is going to resonate much, much more. If you're a divorce attorney and you're talking about all of the different information that needs to be collected for a divorce worksheet, right? So you have to come up with all the assets and all the liabilities that you and your partner have when trying to separate or get divorced. So you can either say, so you're going to want to collect all of your bank statements. You're going to want to, look at the balances of your 401k and your IRA. You're going to want to figure out what the value of your home is. You're going to want to figure out how much student loan debt you have. Again, those are all important pieces of information that the audience needs to have, but it's not quite as interesting as hearing something like, you were married for 20 years. You busted your butt at the office to build that 401k, and you made sure that you created this beautiful, happy home for you and your family. And now you're faced with trying to collect all of this information. Here's what you need to do. Sit down when you get off of work, before you, or maybe it's, when your child is at soccer practice, get out your phone, just get a notebook and write down all the different bank account numbers that you have from your banking app. After dinner, tackle the 401k information. Make sure to make connections with what their daily life is like, and then give the instruction of what you need that potential client to do as it, like, fit it into what their daily life is going to look like. Because that way they're going to feel heard. They're going to feel like, okay, they understand that this isn't just as simple as sitting down in the middle of one afternoon and putting together this divorce worksheet. It's actually finding time to fit it in within my crazy schedule. And if the attorney's acknowledging the fact that that person or that potential client has a crazy schedule, they're going to feel like if they turn around and hire that lawyer, that they're going to feel understood, and they're going to feel more on board. They're going to feel more trustworthy that you're handling the case in the way that they need it to be handled. Because, you know, so many people don't want to hire an attorney. They don't want to hire an attorney because they are intimidated and they're scared and they don't understand what, what's going on, but they know that they have to. They don't want to, but they know that they have to. So one easy way to eliminate that, that underlying stress of the unknown is to connect with them early, and connect with them even before they sign a contract with you, so that after the process of onboarding and intake and joining the firm as a new client, it'll make things just a little bit easier. So I encourage all of you guys to figure out who your ideal clients are and figure out what those client personas are. And then also make sure to pepper in to all of your videos just different phrases that might match that client's persona, and give a little bit of a glimpse that you do understand what life is like. And if, as an attorney, you are a little worried that you might not understand what life is like for any of those clients, I encourage you to talk to your existing clients and talk to your past clients who match those client personas, and get some advice from them. It'll be a really great reason to reach out to them. Plus, you'll learn invaluable information on how to connect with those future clients that you would like to match the wonderful ones that you had before. So again, thank you so much for joining me. You can see Maximum Storytelling, the Maximum Storytelling podcast, every Wednesday live in the Maximum Lawyer Guild at 12:30 Central, 1:30 Eastern. And you can also check us out on the Maximum Lawyer website, where we have all of the podcasts listed there. So I hope you guys are all having a great day, and we will see you next week for another episode of Maximum Storytelling. Bye.